So for years I've bought quote-unquote fishing sunglasses because I found it to be the best way to get high-quality glasses at a very low price. But I'd gotten kind of bored of the styles they came in, so I decided to switch it up a bit and got myself a pair of incredibly cheap Wayfarers off Amazon, and yeah, they're definitely cheap. The lenses were basically just thin pieces of plastic that you could kind of see through, and eventually the hinges just came apart altogether, so it was time for an upgrade. So these are the Hawkers Lakers X, which is a kind of interesting name, but it comes from their sponsorship of the LA Lakers, and their design is pretty basic. None of their sunglasses are trying to be anything you haven't seen before. The idea here is to get something of a decent quality for a reasonable price. And I'd say that's pretty accurate. They're not the cheapest sunglasses ever, but they're definitely within most people's price range. The same can be said about the build quality. When you pick them up, you're not going to be particularly impressed with the materials. The plastic they're made of feels a little bit cheap if I'm being honest, but when I put them on, it doesn't really bother me. It's not like they're really cheap feeling, but they're also not as solid as I had hoped. But this isn't without good reason. Obviously, something's going to have to give when you're designing on a budget, and they've definitely given the priority to the lenses in this case. And I wholeheartedly agree with that decision. Sunglasses are really only meant to serve two purposes: look good, and obviously to protect your eyes. You aren't really going to be holding these or anything like that for more than a few seconds to put them on and take them off. So the lenses are still plastic. Obviously you can't expect much more at this price point, but they work really well. They're 100% UV protected, polarized, and even designed to prevent glare. So are these the best lenses in the world? No, they aren't. But for the price you're paying, I was really impressed. They're incredibly clear, and something I really appreciate is that they don't over-darken the area around you. So if the sun goes behind a cloud or you walk inside, you will still be able to see just fine, which I really like. Now, I don't know how much of that has to do with the color I picked. The yellow tint could have something to do with that, but certainly the black ones would still be significantly better than some of the cheaper options. It feels like you're just looking through a thin sheet of black plastic. So there's not much else to say. They do have a little Lakers logo on the side, and I assume that goes for all the colors, so if that's something that bothers you, you do have to keep that in mind, but honestly it blends in pretty well. The box they come in is actually really nice, and it also comes with a little pouch to keep them safe, but again, those are very much Lakers themed. So it's slightly confusing why, but they have multiple websites, one for the US and one for everything else. Now they're based out of Spain, so I'm assuming there's a good reason, but the problem is the worldwide site has a lot more choices both for color and style than the US one. So if you go to the website, it says worldwide shipping, which you might assume includes the United States, but unless something's changed since I ordered mine, that is the only country that's excluded. So I'll leave links down below to both websites. If you are in the US, you could try to place your order and see what it says. If you can get it to go through, just drop a comment down below so you can let other people know. On the plus side, they do take PayPal. Anyways, I'd give them a 4 out of 5. I definitely recommend them to anyone in the market, but there's a couple of small things like the build quality, the logos, and the difficult website situation that drops it down a bit on my rating scale. So thank you all so much for watching. If you have any questions or suggestions or would just like to start a conversation, feel free to drop a comment down below. I'll make sure to respond and we can have a nice conversation. I post new videos every single Sunday, so I'd definitely like to see you back next week. But until then,